true that some school contracts can legally make teachers work 24/7?
A lot of schools out there consider teachers to be like the Wi-Fi routers. I mean, they're expected to be always on, always available. They might overheat silently, but they must never complain.
I've also heard that contracts can change after you sign them. Isn't it illegal?
Sounds illegal, but legal, yes, if the contract clearly says that the school may change its policies from time to time. So if a contract says that and you've signed it, you've actually signed for the moving goalpost clause. So the correction here is that the teachers must read the contracts carefully, particularly for the policies listed there, and they should ensure that there are those essential safeguards mentioned as policy. Otherwise, they could be in major perils.
Okay, so what should teachers actually look before signing the contract
See,
then?
salary is just one of the parameters that teachers should look for. That's not the whole picture. In fact, the bigger salary figure could actually be hiding those little dangers. For example, the teachers should be checking the control versus responsibility scenario. How much of a control do they have on their own decisions? How much of a responsibility would be silently added? They should be aware of that.
So extra classes, substitution, and exam duties, I mean, these are normal, right?
Normalized, I would say, yes, but you need to check whether they're being paid for or not. And if they're not being paid for, are they part of the work hours or not? Because often these things are given the compliments but not the currency. They are praised but they are not paid for. So the correction here is to ensure that all of these extra duties, the additional duties, are added within the work hours, and all those work hours should have a capping on them, a weekly capping. And that should include the time for the reflection, the lesson plans, report making, assessment doing, and even the WhatsApp text responding, or even those parenting counseling calls they have to take with the parents all the time.
So some contracts say that the schools can remove the teachers with 1 month notice, but the teachers, they have to give 3 months notice.
That doesn't sound like a contract. That sounds more like a one-sided breakup letter. So the teachers must demand for this something called notice period symmetry, which means whatever the school expects from the teacher should be given the same right.
And severance pay, I mean, most of the teachers, they don't even know about this.
So severance pay is the amount of money or the financial breathing space given to the teachers and mentioned in the contract. For example, if the teacher is terminated from the duty mid-session, then in a way that could be damaging for her career, her income, and also for her reputation. So in that case, the teacher could actually demand for 3 months, up to 3 months of salary, and that could be the severance pay.
So contracts promise growth opportunities. How trustworthy are they?
All these growth opportunities are actually seen as the ladder of progress, but often the rungs of the ladder are either locked or the access is denied. So the teacher should ensure that the criteria mentioned for these promotions are actually measurable. I mean, if there are vague words like the teacher should be responsible or the management should be satisfied, and those contracts are actually not going to give you any progress or growth opportunities. Instead, there should be measurable criteria. For example, attendance of more than 97%, or the report submitted on time, or the deadlines met, or anything which is measurable. Because if it cannot be measured, it certainly cannot be defended.
So is it true that schools can own the teachers' lesson plans?
Oh, schools often look at teachers' lesson plans as part of the school furniture. I mean, all the PPTs, the assessments, all the lesson plans made by the teachers, the schools consider their wholesome rights in them. So correction should be added by the teachers in the contract that all those lesson plans, all that teacher has created as her intellectual property, that could be reused by the teacher anytime she wants. That's part of her brain.
So asking these questions, don't you feel like a teacher candidate would look very difficult and demanding?
I would say quite the contrary. In fact, a teacher who is aware is valuable. The teacher would look professionally competent, so certainly productivity and efficiency can be expected of her. Also, the rule of thumb is very simple. If it is not written, it does not exist. And if it is vague, it is only for the school. For more education and parenting insights, follow us. All the best.
All the best.